Welcome back, guys, or if you're new to my channel, this is Automotive Anonymous. That's a 2025 Subaru Outback Touring. And today's video is primarily going to be maybe a 10-minute long driving impressions video. But before we hop in, we launch out of this gravel area and we see how it does on the road and basically do just a really extended driving impressions video. If you like anything you see today, please consider liking this video. Comment your thoughts and opinions below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Otherwise, if you are new to my channel, I own an Outback. I've had one of these for about 3 years. Mine specifically is the Wilderness. But there's a lot of reasons why so many people love these, why so many people buy them. They sell up to about 170,000 every single year in North America alone. Let me just quickly show you the Napa Brown leather back seats that recline, and they're heated on the outboard style. So basically, this is a very luxurious $40,000 wagon after about a $2,000 discount from the Twin Falls Subaru. This one specifically, as you're going to see, it doesn't have any extra options beyond the all-weather floor mats and some USB charging cables. And what a nice place to be. So let's hop inside, take it for a drive. But first, let me show you the backup camera. And notice that the mirror, or the side on the right, the passenger side, it drops down. Backup camera, not fantastic. Reverse automatic braking, reverse cross traffic alert, blind spot monitoring, heads up display, really bright LED headlights. This one seriously has a lot to offer. So we're not going to register the vehicle. We're going to drop it down to drive, and traction control is off. Let's see if it breaks the tires loose with a full throttle acceleration on some gravel. All right, let's go. Nope, it kept traction. Of course, this 2.5 liter naturally aspirated 182 horsepower engine, it doesn't make crazy amounts of power, especially down low in the RPM, but it does a pretty good job at moving the vehicle. The vehicle weighs about 3,900 pounds. So I feel like it's decently sized, well enough that it feels stable on the road, but not so heavy that it feels like a truck or a full body on frame SUV that you're just not going to enjoy driving a whole lot. But once the traffic clears up and we have a gap, let's do a 0 to 60, or at least get up to speed. It's going to take probably about 500 feet for this to accelerate up to the speed limit. So I think we have our opening. Let's see if it takes very long for us to catch that Kia. Basically, these are about 3 seconds slower 0 to 60 than the turbo trim levels, and for about $3,000 premium, it might be something you want to consider if you're going to have this fully loaded, have your passengers, your family in the back seat, a bunch of cargo, or even tow, because the naturally aspirated one can tow 2,700 pounds and the turbo can tow 3,500 pounds. But this video is mostly about the driving impressions. If you want to watch my full review of this or most of the other 2025 Outbacks before this generation is gone and the 2026s roll out with a new generation, Gen 7, let's talk about the driving impressions. So currently I am going to put it into cruise control. We're going to go back down to the speed limit. Anything that doesn't look legal is all CGI, of course. All right, so we have lane keep assist on. I'm, again, CGI, driving safely. It's going to beep at you. The mitigation system, which is that horizontal bar right there, it doesn't seem to give you as much leeway as the older versions or the other trim levels that don't have that bar right there. But overall, the lane keep assist, while not being perfect and sometimes it can kind of abruptly kick you out, overall it does a pretty good job. This one being the Touring, it does have the third camera, making it the 4th generation of the eyesight system. You have the mirror, that's a camera back there, kind of interesting, kind of trippy. It kind of takes me a little while to get used to it, and honestly I usually just leave it as the standard camera, but some of you guys might appreciate that feature. And so far this has actually done a really good job to keep it in its lane. It's also not the best at keeping it perfectly centered in the lane, but overall I think it does a pretty good job. Again, it's going to beep at you, keep your eyes on the road, but just cruising at 60 right now, kind of going uphill slightly, and the RPMs are maybe 1750, maybe, yeah, kind of drops around, moves around a little bit being the CVT. But when you have to get out of cruise, hop on the brakes, the brake pedal feels pretty linear. It's a long 16-foot vehicle. It does not corner super well. It does not corner nearly as well as the lowered, better suspension 15-foot long WRX if you've ever driven one of those. But for a wagon, I don't think it's too bad. Let me slow down a little bit more. I'm going to throw the steering wheel and then I can slow-mo this and we can see what the dashboard flex looks like. But we're going about, I don't know, let's go up to maybe 20. I can hear a little bit of turning from the back wheels, a little bit of chirping. It turns in pretty quick, but because it's all electronic steering, you don't really feel a whole lot. There's not like vibrations through the steering wheel, but you feel enough of the road with these Adva GT tires on 9/32 a tread. I've also driven one of these in the winter if you want to see how my impressions of this driving through some snow and a blizzard warning were. But overall, visibility is really good. It's going to beep by you anytime you go over one of the lanes. I'll show you that again right here. Get a little bit of beeping, a little bit of yellow lights on the dash, reminding you that that's a warning. Really bad stuff is red. That's like if you're about to crash and it's going to have emergency braking come on. I've actually tested a lot of those features in my own Subaru Outback. It was kind of a sketchy video to make, but you can search for that on my channel if you want. And overall, I just like the interior of the Touring. This is the Apex trim level, so this is the 5th highest, being the non-turbo or the Touring XT. XT just means turbo. It is the highest trim level period for the Outback, and it's just really nice. This Napa brown leather is nice. My backpack feels right at home with some other brown leather around it. Overall, it does corner pretty well. I can't show you the speakers on camera because of copyright issues, and then it's not going to be translated through your speakers at home as well as you would feel this in person. So definitely test drive one for yourself. Check out all the features. But let me just say this. The heated steering wheel, I've now had this car on for about 30 minutes as of filming this right now. The wheel is warm, but it's not hot, and after a couple minutes, it has been consistently the same temperature. It hasn't really fluctuated up and down. Same with the heated seats after having it on for about a half an hour. They're warm, but they are not hot, so if you really want hot heated seats, you might have to look elsewhere. The ventilated seats, they make a lot of noise. I do have a sound canceling microphone on right now. It takes a little bit for the air to kind of ramp up. So you guys probably can't hear that on camera, but it actually makes a lot of noise. It kind of sounds like the AC is on like level 1 or 2 when you do that. The heat doesn't really make any noise because it's not air fluctuating and moving around. It's just the electronics warming up the coils and everything. But overall, let's check out the horn. It's louder than the Forester, fairly deep for a Subaru, not really surprising. But this is a top safety pick, plus it's a very safe vehicle. It's going to take you to farm fields. It's going to take you soft roading. It's going to take you to a lot of places, and if you're considering the Touring over even the Limited, I think the Limited is basically just as good as this, minus a few of the upper end features, like the dropping mirror on the side, like the digital mirror right here, like the mitigation system, like the bolstering. There's only a few subtle differences between this and the Limited, but the Limited and the Touring are kind of a big jump over some of the other Outback trim levels, like the Premium with cloth seats, like the Wilderness with StarTech seats. So I do think that this is just a really nice, really luxurious vehicle. It handles overall really well for being a crossover unibody. It's extremely safe, being a top safety pick plus, where it's completely designed for safety. And I think Subaru has done such a good job with this. I do wish there were more cup holders, more storage in the doors, huge handle here, but that could be bigger. I can barely even get my hand halfway down the second half of it. So there's a few things that Subaru could do better, and maybe for the next generation they will. But where this gen came out 6 years ago in 2020, for 6 model years, 2020, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think it's really refined. I think they've done a really good job with it. And overall, I'm pretty happy with it. We own this engine in a Forester, a 2025 Forester Premium, and I own the Turbo Outback. So maybe at some point I'll do a video on which one do I like more, and maybe I'll do a video where I'll take out 2 Outbacks, a turbo and a non-turbo, and we'll do some acceleration comparisons like 20 to 60, 50 to 80, whatever might be interesting. But overall, around town, the power is completely adequate. If you're going to be passing like single lane traffic, like say if this was a highway road right here and there's slow moving tractors that pull out of the farm fields and they're going 30 or 40 or 50 miles an hour, which is lower than the speed limit, and you need to kind of plan ahead to pass them when there's a gap. Remember, this isn't making a ton of power, especially at altitude like we are today. So you do kind of have to plan ahead. That's why I sold my 2-liter Crosstrek and I bought a 2.4-liter Turbo Outback, because it feels way safer when you have to pass stuff like that. But if you don't live in areas like this, you probably don't need it. If you're only going to be driving through areas like this 1% of the time, again, you probably don't need it. I do a lot of driving through areas like this, so for me, the power is extremely noticeable there, but not so much around town. Not so much once you're up to speed on the highway. So overall, it's luxurious. It has enough power for most people. It's extremely safe, and I think Subaru has knocked out of the park once again with their tons of trim pieces, but overall a really comfortable, lots of soft materials. it's a nice place to be. So I probably rambled on long enough. Let's do a 0 to 60. I'll show you what that does. 0 to 60 in the Touring. Density altitude's 4,200 feet, so this vehicle is down on power, 12 to 14%. Traction's off, brake rev, let's go. True 0 to 60 came in at 9.73 seconds, a little bit faster without rollout, how this would have been rated. Overall, not too bad on a 4,000 density foot day. And anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Please like this video if you got anything out of it. Subscribe, comment your thoughts and opinions below. I wish you the best. I hope to see you again. And until next time, take care.